Good day everyone, welcome to Mental Health Support with Kim, and today's topic is hiding OCD and skin picking. Now, most of you probably have the experience who have OCD or skin picking where you have to hide it from your partner if you have not yet revealed that you have OCD or skin picking, or if you're not even aware that you do have it. So Kim today is going to share with us how she, in a marriage and generally in relationships, hide her skin picking and OCD. So Kim, what are we going to focus on? A marriage, a relationship?
I want to focus on the marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us a little bit about this marriage, this relationship you had. How long was it? Who was it with? How was the partner you were with?
Okay. I was married for 10 years, so it was quite long term. I was married quite young. We met when I was 21, and we were married by the time I just turned 23. And the man that I married was very caring and supportive towards me 100% of the time. Very dedicated and loyal, and it's like the type of guy who I never worried that he would cheat on me or do anything to upset or humiliate or hurt me. It was like, my perfect man basically that I found and wanted to marry me. And yeah, so it was pretty ideal. In terms of what I could see at the time.
Okay. So you already had, or were you already aware that you had OCD and skin picking before the marriage?
Yes.
All right. So when you met him the first time, did you tell him? Did you say, "Hey, I have this problem"?
We met through working together at a job, and so we were just friends for years before we ended up dating. And the thing is that there was a period of time before we met again, like we were first friends, and then some years passed, and then we met again, and turned out we were both single, and then we started dating. And I did not have any intentions on getting married, so I did my usual hiding it, which is what I had consistently done in my relationship before that. So it was when we decided to get married that I knew that this was now going to be a lifelong thing. Well, to me, it was, you get married, you're married for life. So I knew that once the marriage proposal idea became a reality and knew we were going to do it, that I would have to tell him eventually.
So for me, a question. So while you were dating and working together, right? He wasn't aware that you had OCD. So how did you hide that? Just in the workplace, just in dating later on.
How I hid it was when we were dating, I was working at a bar. So right away, this is how someone with OCD thinks, right? Right away, you got the lighting covered because your social time happens after the sun goes down. He was working during the day, I was working at night. So during the day, when it's light and everything, there was no problem. And then I would go to work, and then I would get home, and that would be our time together at night. So I always had an apartment that had dim lighting, for example. Makeup to cover up stuff on your skin.
Skin picking.
Yes. Because you have wounds and scratches, and then strategic clothing. So, you have clothing for every occasion, long sleeves, short sleeves, different parts of the body covered that you need to have covered, long pants, and a lot of lights out, basically.
So a question for me, with dating and hiding OCD and skin picking, would you say OCD played into the point of just hiding skin picking, meaning you had to plan everything
Yes,
meticulously?
You become skin picking is considered part of OCD. It's under that umbrella disorder, and it's not just the act of doing skin picking is the compulsion. It's the action, but there is a whole internal reality that takes place, and it's not it's like you become obsessed with a lot of different things, And so, yes, managing and controlling, hiding it actually feeds into the OCD. In terms of, I would strategize who would go into the bedroom first, or when I could have time to go into the bathroom. I mean, there was a point where I was spending hours in the bathroom just picking at my skin, scratching.
While he was there?
Yeah, I mean, mostly I would do it when he was at work or try to find times, but then it's something that is beyond your control. So, I mean, so you believe. So you do find times when the person is there, when he would be there, it just wouldn't be long. I would go to the bathroom and spend maybe half an hour and pull myself out because I would know that I'm not going to be able to explain this away, you know.
So, give me an example of what was your particular points in OCD besides skin picking that was OCD, obsessive compulsive disorders.
Okay, I didn't have any of the typical OCD symptoms like having germophobia or needing things to be in order or anything about my appearance otherwise. It was mostly uh, anxieties, and later on I realized I would have health fears, so constantly worrying about getting sick or being sick, and basically thinking yourself into an overwhelm about everything. So it's like any little task that you have to do, for me personally, would it's like you think about it so much that it becomes so overwhelming that you just can't do it, or so worried about failing at something, or um, getting negative feedback about something, that kind of thing.
So if you got negative feedback on something, would you go back and like overdo it, like try and cover
Yeah.
every point because you become obsessive and compulsive.
To a point where it
Yeah.
becomes exhausting and unsustainable, and then everything that you do in your life pretty much will it's just things being piled on top of you to a point where you're so full, and there's so much pressure inside of you that then you go and you act out a compulsion, and that relieves all the pressure that you've placed there.
All right. Well, that gives you more of a standing. So let's go back to your relationship. All right. Before you got married. So now you're going on dates, but you have this thing, you're picking your skin, right? And you know there's going to be intimacy. So how do you hide it when you know that with this person you're with, that when there's intimacy, how do you hide the skin picking or the bruises and the marks you've made? How do you hide it in that scenario?
I would say lights out.
It just lights up, but
Yeah.
and I couldn't feel like the scabs, the places you've scratched yourselves. I couldn't like
Yeah, and
feel.
then it's amazing the extents that you'll go to. I mean, I know lights out and makeup is used a lot, and a lot of people that pick their skin will become fantastic makeup artists, being able to cover up and look absolutely flawless. But when it comes to, if you know that you have some bumpy wound on your body, you will know in your mind exactly where that is on your body, and you will move your body in the exact way so that that spot doesn't get touched.
So you actually become very controlling yet
Yes.
manipulative in a way, like to make sure that this person is not touching you where
Yeah.
you have been scratching, and they might think, oh, you're just having fun, or it's being a fun moment, and you're taking control, and meantime you're actually just hiding and putting away what you're doing to yourself with scratching and
Yeah,
stuff.
and it's not nice because it's like this moment that should be self-expression and just really moving with the moment becomes a very controlled thing that's again pressure, and again anxiety about whether it gets touched, and if it does then it's like horrible, like oh my god, I'm disgusting. And
Let's go into that. So if someone touches you on that horrible mark that you've been scratching yourself, what do you do more? What do you go into more after that mindset? What does your mindset become?
well, it's like, are you talking about an intimate moment or in
Yeah,
general?
after intimate moment. Let's say you like someone
Mhm.
and they find out through touching you on a place where you scratch yourself, and now you go into OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So that means you're gonna go, oh, he touched me there.
Okay, so let's say you're going on a date or you're preparing for this moment, and you're like wanting to look your best and you're making sure and you feel confident because you look great. and then the thing is touched, then it's like any confidence or feeling great or security that you have is just gone, and it's like the entirety of you just crumbles, and it's like you're nothing. It's like all of a sudden every bad thing that you've thought about yourself is now there as you in the moment.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
But do you go into more skin picking then because you hate yourself even more now?
It's an accumulation, so that would definitely contribute to the accumulation. It depends on where you're at, and if you're already at your limit, then that happens, then yeah, that would put you over the edge, and then you'll just be itching and waiting to get to a private spot where you could go and just release.
Okay, what is this release? I don't know.
It's the internal experience is like unbearable and very pressureful, and it's like you just want to do anything to escape it. It's like torture. It feels like internally creepy, crawly, icky, and
Okay, so you say you'll do anything to get rid of it. Give me an example of this anything. Like, what have you done to get rid of
this internal sensation.
Yeah.
Well, it's the skin picking.
Just skin picking.
That is the only thing that works. It's like you'll try being physical and doing self-care and just try everything that you can think of to make this go away, and then the only thing that works is skin picking, which just reinforces doing it.
No. So it creates a cycle.
Yeah.
And now this is still a dating, right? You're not still yet married or living with this person. So I can imagine the brutal date nights and everything you had to go through.
Yeah. It's like this thing that you're supposed to be looking forward to becomes a daunting task.
Like you have to meticulously plan things and how you're gonna hide things and how you're gonna do your thing without the other person noticing or judging you or feeling bad.
Yes. And you know that because it's another person, you can't control the outcome. And you don't know, you can't predict. You try to predict every little thing that might happen, but you can't. So there's this immense fear and anticipation of what if something happens that I can't control. And then you're going to find yourself in that soul-crushing experience that I described. And it becomes just unpleasant. Like everything is just unpleasant.
So now, okay, I want to know how far can people go with this, having OCD and skin picking. So if you're comfortable, can you share what is the worst thing you've done or can remember that you did with skin picking or OCD when you knew there was someone else involved that's going to find out or should find out at some point, and you just wanted to get away from it? You just wanted to not feel the experience inside of yourself of OCD. What is the thing that you did to get rid of that feeling or to hide, or what's the worst thing?
You mean like damage I did to myself?
Yeah, damage to yourself or act out anything that...
Well, it's like the only thing that you do is skin picking. It's not like you act out in other ways or do other things. It's either avoiding being found out or doing the skin picking itself. It's like those are the two things where I could see you would go to extremes. And for me, I would say the most damage I did to myself is I picked so much in one spot that I created like a hole that will never heal. It's like it was just deep, and it's actually when I found out someone had cancer that happened. It was like my reactions and stuff. And I just couldn't stop. It was like this belief that there's something in that hole in your skin that you need to get out, and that somehow that is going to relieve the pressure, and it does, which is the problem. But you'll dig and dig and dig thinking there's some toxic, disgusting thing in there that needs to come out. And so yeah, I mean, I haven't done anything too crazy. I've heard of people that have been hospitalized and had infections that required antibiotics, but I never did anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously different degrees and levels that people go depending on their life situation, their home environment, the relationships they're in. You know, I think a lot of factors determine how far we're willing to go.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's still the same signature.
Yeah, it's like I was in a very supportive environment for most of the time.
Yeah.
So I had that, which probably helped me to stop myself from going to those extremes. But I think the internal experience that I was having was the same as anybody else.
Yeah, I think it's just, if you're in a more triggering environment, it's gonna trigger you to go further, but it's the same starting point.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So this is just dating. I know we said the topic hiding a relationship, but I think for today we're gonna end it off just here and continue on how do you hide this in a marriage?
Okay.
How do you hide this in an actual committed relationship? And even how do you come with sharing that part of yourself and exposing it to others? Okay, thank you very much for me interviewing you.